is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Florida.
San Diego, sun, surf, fun. San Diego is German for a whale of a place to hit. In 2 games, 18 runs. And last night, Jeff Mathis' grand slam gave the Marlins their 2nd straight win. So today, Miami goes for the sweep. I gotta admit, I'm gonna miss this place. Enough of the Travel Channel stuff. It's baseball time in San Diego, though the Marlins have enjoyed their stay at Petco Park, winning the first 2 of a 3-game series, afternoon baseball, to finish the series. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Preston Wilson. Welcome to San Diego. One issue for the Marlins this year, even though they're 3 over 500, teams with under 500 records. The Braves, the Twins, the Fish have struggled against them. But here are the Padres, 14 under, and Miami has a chance to kind of put that behind them and sweep the series.
Well, it seems like they realize what's happening, and now they're trying to not play down to the level of competition because this Marlins team is getting better. So if they win today, they get the sweep on the series, and they end up 5-4 on the road trip, which is nice.
Lineup notes. Ichiro's in. Giancarlo Stanton is out. Let's start with Ichiro. Yes, he's 1 away from tying Pete Rose's hit total. He's 23 away from getting to 3,000, but the bottom line is this. He is helping Miami win baseball games right now.
Well, Ichiro's not just a fan attraction. He's a contributor to this team. He's getting on base a lot. He's scoring a lot of runs, and his batting average is around 330, so he's not just one of those guys that you just also ran. He's one of the contributing factors to this team being where they are right now.
Especially with 11 hits on this road trip. Giancarlo Stanton. Don Mattingly said the stuff that he's working on, he doesn't want it to regress in a game situation. So another day off here, a day off tomorrow, hoping that the adjustments he's making will be able to translate to the game on Friday night.
Well, it had to feel really good for Giancarlo to get that double in the game last night. There's nothing better than the feeling of working on something and then understanding that it translates into the game. I understand what Mattingly is doing. I actually like it today because Perdomo throws pretty hard, and he's one of those guys that you can really get out of rhythm. You can mess up your sequencing as far as your setup. I like it. Get him back home, have him another day of workouts, batting, and then let him get back out there.
Luis Perdomo is the guy you're talking about. He's the starter for the Padres, an upper 90s fastball. Justin Nicolino goes for Miami to finish off this series in the sun in San Diego. When we get back, we'll hear from today's starter, Justin Nicolino. We'll meet the Friars. Yes, he will. Marlins and Padres. An afternoon of baseball coming up. presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. Now this is San Diego. Brilliant sunshine, perfect weather, and baseball. And Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Hey, Rich. Justin Nicolino on the mound today for the Marlins. This is the first time this season that he's seen the Padres. With that being said, here is Nicolino on the most important part of the game plan when it comes to facing San Diego today.
Establishing your fastball. I mean, just because you've never seen a team, I think I've faced some of these guys throughout the minor leagues, but I think the biggest thing is just establishing your fastball and letting everything work off of that. Because if you go out there and try to just do too much, it just kind of gets out of hand. But if you go out there, establish a fastball, and pitch to your strengths, I mean, and just kind of let the game play out.
And Nicolino coming off of a tough outing against the Diamondbacks. He gave up 5 runs in that start. He said he felt good about his fastball, just felt like execution needed to be a little bit better. Be sure to keep it right here. First pitch between the Padres and the Marlins is coming up next. The Fish with the opportunity to get the sweep in today's game before heading back to Miami. It will be Justin Nicolino on the mound for the Marlins. Luis Perdomo will get the start for the Friars.
Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By Warren Henry, now celebrating our 40th year as Miami's best luxury dealer. And by Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Price, service, selection. You're gonna love us. A little Balboa Park for you on this afternoon from San Diego. The legend out there, Tony Gwynn. And certainly he would be very appreciative of the Marlins leadoff man today. Luis Perdomo is on his way out to the mound. And Perdomo gets set to face the Marlins, whose lineup looks like this. It's brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
Ichiro's leading off. Martin Prado second. Christian Yelich is in the 3-hole. In the middle, Ozuna, Moore, Real Muto. Bottom 3, Echeverria, Miguel Rojas is playing second and 8th hole, and Justin Nicolino is batting 9th.
Perdomo, the 23-year-old Rule 5 draft pick, actually by Colorado, and then the Padres acquired him from there. So he's got a stick in the big leagues for the whole year. And Ichiro stands in and takes a fastball down low. Ichiro is one shy of that mark that Pete Rose set, the hit total for Rose. And of course, 23 shy of 3,000. A little tapper up the first base line.
That's a knock.
And he is in there. So there you go. Ichiro, 4,256 hits. Combined from his 9 years in Japan. He is being recognized here at Petco Park. Fans appreciative of it. His teammates as well. Ichiro himself has been very honest and very upfront in saying, look, Pete Rose is a great player. I'm not saying that I am as good a player as Pete Rose. If people want to celebrate the fact that I have as many hits as he does in both Japan and in Major League Baseball, that's great. If they want to separate the two, that's great as well.
Rich, I'm looking at Ichiro's reaction to that, and he's like, let me get my sign and let's go. He's like, he could not be bothered by that just now, and I'm sure it meant something to him, but he's such a classy guy that he didn't want to, I guess make more of it than he felt it was necessary.
Perdomo throws a strike to Martin Prado. Well, certainly it's big news in Japan, and I think when you make the discussion and make the comparison, if you want to, between Rose and Ichiro, you look at those years from age 20 through 26, where Ichiro was ripping it up in Japan before he arrived in Seattle. Prado up the middle into center field. That's a base hit. Martin Prado, one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now, 11 for his last 17. That's a 9-game hit streak for the third leading hitter in the National League.
Does a great job keeping his hands above the baseball. Somehow gets inside that ball. That ball was working middle in, and he pulls his hands through, keeps that barrel flat through the zone for such a long time, like he's been doing so well lately. Hits that ball right back up the box.
He is one of the most creative hitters in terms of swing and approach. He'll drive a ball 400 feet to left center, as he did in this series, and then he'll smack balls into right field off that back foot, and Yelich pulls one foul. Christian Yelich in the lineup. If you're just happening by and you missed Marlins Live or the open of our show, Ichiro is playing. Giancarlo Stanton has another maintenance day off. So Marcell Ozuna's hitting cleanup. Justin Bour is in the 5 spot. Ichiro in infield hits. He's 22 away from 3,000. And he has equaled Pete Rose's total. That is down the line, and that is fair. Karam's off the corner. Ichiro on his way home. Yelich is going to get a single, and Miami has got a 1-0 lead. And just like that, Ichiro, Martin Prado, Christian Yelich, 3 hits right out of the gate. That had double written on it until it hit that little cutout, and it was played nicely by Upton in left.
Yeah, that's knowing your field. Upton did the right thing. He went behind that little break just in case something happened, and he had to cut that ball off at the line. Then he works his way back in towards the field. That's how you got to play those corners that have those little nooks over there right off the foul line.
Marlins continue to swing it well, and here is Ozuna. Offensively, the first 2 games of this series for Miami have been impressive. 13 runs on 19 hits on Monday night. And last night, it was an early attack fueled by Jeff Mathis' 3rd career grand slam and a 5-2 win. That was first inning in which Miami put 5 runs on the board, and it was enough for Tom Kohler and a trio of relievers last night. Kyle Barraclough, David Phelps, and A.J. Ramos. Prado's at second, Yelich at first. And Perdomo misses in.
I think Prado's hopping around out there to try to distract Perdomo a little bit. He knows he's a young guy. And sometimes when you got traffic on the bases, if you start putting a little extra thought here and there in that pitcher's head, it takes his focus away from home plate.
He's 2-1 to Ozuna. Big lead by Prado. And a fastball is in. That's the big arm you hear about from Perdomo. But the nature of a Rule 5 draft pick is this. He's a guy that was not protected on St. Louis roster. Colorado drafted him in the Rule 5 pick. You pay $50,000, you get that player, but you've got to keep him on the 25-man roster the whole year to hang on to him. Padres traded for him, and they're under the same rules. So as we scout Perdomo, the Padres trying to keep him in the big leagues all season long.
Well, he's an average guy as far as tools. He's got mid-90s fastball, sometimes upper 90s, slider, change curve, your basic pitches. For either one, he's had 3-to-1 ratio of strikeouts to walks, and big jumper went from A ball to the big leagues.
Ramirez, and the turn from Solarte is in time, and that's what Perdomo was looking for. Ozuna bounces into a double play. Padres defense. Melvin Upton Jr. in left, John Jay in center, Matt Kemp in right, Ryan Schimpf, who made his major league debut last night, Alexei is at short, Yangervis Solarte at second, Will Myers at first, Derek Norris back behind the plate. Justin Bour, and wouldn't you know, the Padres defense is just about straight up against Bour. On Monday night, the Padres, one of the most aggressive and progressive defensive shifting teams, were way over on that right side, and Bour had 3 hits to left field, 2 of them on the ground that shot right through the left side. Changeup and a strike.
I like throwing Justin Bour changeups. Keep it up.
Yeah, Bour crunched a changeup for a grand slam in Arizona, and the Marlins' lone win in the 3 games against the Diamondbacks. Back to the mound. Perdomo flips in time to get the out. Miami is on the board, and Ichiro has another hit. 4,256 combined from Japan and in Major League Baseball. Another hit. And Pete Rose's hit total. Now Ichiro has drawn even. UL Sports Medicine brings you San Diego's lineup.
Well, John Jay's leading off. Will Myers is second. Matt Kemp is in the 3-hole. Yangervis Solarte is getting a spot in the cleanup. Derek Norris, Upton, and Ramirez. And then 8-9 are Schimpf and Luis Perdomo is batting 9th.
John Jay takes a strike. Will Myers, Matt Kemp will follow for the Padres. You see Justin Nicolino's numbers. His last start in Arizona, 5 2/3, 5 runs. That was the game the Marlins won. Nicolino got a no decision in that ball game. Jay was terrific last night in center field. Made a great skidding, sliding catch on the warning track to rob Marcell Ozuna. Made another really nice running catch in the same spot. Former St. Louis Cardinal, now a Padre, and of course Miami fans know him as a Hurricane. He was an outstanding player for the University of Miami.
I don't ever get too caught up in fielding percentages for outfielders unless it's just glaringly bad, because sometimes outfielders make errors making the effort to get the balls that others don't. So I remember Ken Griffey might have like 7 or 8 errors, but there were also balls that nobody would even get to. He just played that hard out there.
Nicolino gets a strikeout. Down goes John Jay. Miami's defense today. Martin Prado is back out there. The outfield of Yelich, Ozuna, and Ichiro in right. Prado and Bohr on the corners. Derek Dietrich's foot still sore from getting hit the other night. He has the day off. He's available to pinch hit. So Miguel Rojas at second. Danny Echeverria at short. And JT Realmuto at the plate. And here is Will Myers, who popped a home run on Monday night. In an odd twist, the Padres hit 4 homers on Monday and lost 13-4. Myers' shot went to right center. Lifts that one in the air. Ichiro wanders to his right and makes the catch. A little tricky Sunfield today. Both Ozuna and Ichiro have the glasses on. You know, in the discussion about Ichiro as far as his hit totals, the fact that he didn't get to the big leagues till his age 27 year. Remember, he was a Gold Glove winner in Japan as well. He won 10 straight Gold Gloves after arriving in Seattle. So not only do you think about, well, if he'd been allowed to come over and play at the age of 20, where would his hits be? But you can also say the same about his Gold Glove totals.
Yes.
He may have won 14, 15 Gold Gloves rather than just the 10 in a row that he won. Kemp swings and misses. The stolen bases for Ichiro. I mean, he's over 500 career stolen bases. The years 20 through 26, you got to know that the speed was there. It's a fair ball over the bag, off the corner of the wall. Kemp around first, doesn't have great speed. The throw is not in time. Christian Yelich took a shot. Matt Kemp has his 15th double.
This one down the line. Christian Yelich was playing a little deep and swung around a little bit to the center field side of left, so it took him a little bit longer to get there. But he played that well. He did it right on these corners. Like I mentioned before, you go towards the foul pole. Then if it hits that, then you work your way in. You do it that way because if that ball doesn't hit that little carom area and it goes down to the corner, then you got to run back to get it. And that's when those triples and inside the Parkers happen.
Here is Solarte. And Gervis Solarte, the 29-year-old Venezuelan, his 3rd year as a Padre. Last year, a career year for him after a long time in the Yankees organization in the minor leagues. Right center, Ozuna tracking it, and he runs it down, and Nicolino gets out of the first. 1-0, Miami on top in the sun in San Diego. A Wednesday showdown brought to you by La Lechonera. Torrey Pines. Yeah, one of the many great spots here in the San Diego area. Out in the berm, out in right center field. They've got a beach down there as well. The park in the park. Get some sun, catch some baseball, a little picnic. See some history. JT Real Muto, Danny Echeverria, Miguel Rojas here. Miami's second against Luis Perdomo. 3 hits to open the first. Ichiro, Martin Prado, and Christian Yelich. Schimpf. And there's 1 out. Here comes Echeverria. With the win last night, Miami brought themselves within a game of the second place Mets. The Mets at 34-29, the Marlins at 34-31. Washington lost last night as well, so the Marlins are 6 back in the East. Big night in game 1 for Echeverria. Doubled, tripled, and knocked in 4.
Fun fact for you, Rich.
Fun fact.
I'll give you one guess. Well, I'll give you 3 guesses. Who's the shortstop that led the National League in batting average last year?
So not a shortstop that led the league, but the shortstop that had the highest average among shortstops.
Yes, had the highest batting average among shortstops.
I'll go right there. I'll go Echeverria.
Absolutely right. 281. He led National League shortstops in batting average last year.
What do you see different from last year to this year? Because his average checks in about 247.
He was just really inconsistent early as far as his timing, kind of like what Stanton is going through right now. He was late a lot, just not getting there on time, and it took him a little bit longer to settle in this year. But I think he's working his way back there.
Nice play by Will Myers to capture that on a backhand. The Rockies are hot, and they're coming to Miami. Colorado has won 3 straight and has climbed within 2 of 500. And a Fireworks Friday opens the homestand and a 4-game series. 7:10 this Friday. The Budweiser burger and beer package for just $25. Get you a lower level ticket, specialty burger, and a 16-ounce beer. Enjoy fireworks after the game. Visit Marlins.com for more information. Here's Rojas, who's getting the start with Derek Dietrich, still nursing that sore foot. Solarte on to first. Luis Perdomo has settled down. 1-0 Miami. here in San Diego. Ichiro has a hit. And Ichiro and the Marlins and the Padres participating in the Home Run Challenge, benefiting prostate cancer research. To donate, visit homerunchallenge.org. In 2 days, over $300,000 has been raised. Justin Nicolino with Derek Norris getting comfortable. Nicolino gets a strike. Early on this year with Nicolino, many were wondering would some of the strikeout numbers get better. And little by little, the strikeouts have started to come. He's been better when he gets out in front of getting hitters to chase. Good example there. Counts 1 and 2. Struck out 6 in his last start. He struck out 6 in his first 5 starts.
Well, it looks like he's learning now to throw more quality pitches, especially when he gets ahead. He's throwing some pitches that start off his balls, start off his strikes, ends up his balls, whether it be change up away or running that cutter or slider in.
Two balls, 2 strikes to the former Oakland Athletic, Derek Norris. He had a career-type year last year, 14 homers, drove in 62, 33 doubles last year for the Padres. Out to short, Echeverria gathers and gets him. So an out here in the second, and Melvin Upton Jr. arrives. Little old school. Padre camo on the right. The Padres actually today, I mean, if you've tuned in and you said, wait a minute, what year is it? Looking at the Padre uniform. Today is the second Way Back Wednesday presented by Budweiser for the Padres. And they're wearing the home white, blue, and orange pinstripes 91 to 2001. Center field. Back goes Ozuna, and it is gone. And this game is tied. Melvin Upton Jr.
Tell you what, he might be wiry thin, but he is really strong. And he's starting to get his stroke back from what we saw in Tampa those early years of his career. And that's just really good extension, staying behind and inside that baseball. Look at that, his head barely moved on that swing.
Alexei Ramirez. So the Padres are going back to that solo home run route. They had 4 of them on Monday night. And Upton has tied the game in his 12th season. Of course, a Ray for a long time. Echeverria runs this one down. And Ramirez is out number 2. Of course, Upton, a couple years in Atlanta, and neither of those years went well for him. But beginning to look a lot like he did in those early years with the Rays.
I'm really starting to see how quiet Melvin Upton's head is when he's at the ball at the plate. You know, and if you can quiet down your approach as a hitter, it's going to make your chances of success a lot better. Head movement going forward, especially for a right-handed hitter, is something that you really have to control.
Brian Schimpf who made his major league debut last night, doubled in his first big league at bat. With the count 1-1 strike. Wednesday for many teams, a getaway day. For the Marlins, a chance to get back home. Schimpf lifts it to left. Ball carries pretty well, and out there is Yelich, who makes the catch. 1-1 ball game. Padres and Marlins.
In the third inning. Don Mattingly announcing today that Jose Fernandez will not start on Friday against the Rockies. Now, there's nothing wrong with Jose. This is a day off for him that has been scheduled since the start of the season as part of managing his innings count. Adam Conley will get the start in his place. The next time that we will see Jose Fernandez will be on June 21st against the Braves. Guys.
All right, thank you, Jess. Yeah, when the Marlins in spring training mapped out 180 innings for Jose, this is one of the dates they looked at as Nicolino takes a strike. As well, the All-Star break is a good possibility. The Marlins move Jose back after his last start of the first half. Nicolino swings and misses. The Rockies series opens Friday. That's a 4-game set, so once through the rotation. And then, as Jess pointed out, Jose hops back on the moving train for that Tuesday start against the Braves. Nicolino, Ichiro, and Martin Prado. And Perdomo gets his first strikeout as he finishes off Nicolino. And here comes Ichiro, whose infield single got him to 4,256. That obviously equals the major league total of Pete Rose. And although Pete Rose comments a couple days ago that those in Japan are trying to make him into the hit queen, I think it's easy to celebrate both careers, to celebrate how great Rose was and the numbers that he put up. And at the same time, to look at Ichiro and say, wow, for a guy that didn't start his career here, that had to play the mandatory years in Japan before he was eligible to come to the United States, and in only 16 seasons to arrive where he is now, just 22 hits shy of 3,000, is remarkable.
I think I was a little more put off by the Queen part. I think that was. I think maybe if he had a chance to say that again, he'd probably not say that, because there's a certain implications that come with that.
Another tapper. Perdomo gets him. I think if you asked Ichiro who's the hit king, he'd say that's Pete Rose.
Of course he would.
And Ichiro has such a healthy respect for the history of Major League Baseball. We've told this story before. When he got to the United States and played in Seattle, one of the things that he did, and he's been there half a dozen times, is go to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. And if you asked everybody in uniform in this ballpark, how many times have you been to Cooperstown? How many players do you think would say they've been to Cooperstown?
Maybe about 30%.
That would be high. I'd go under. I'd go 10 to 15 maybe. Out to short. Ramirez throws to first. But Ichiro's been there at least half a dozen times. Marlins down quickly here in the third. It's 1-1. Very cool. A little extra time and a GoPro, and you too can be wheeling around San Diego like that and appear on the Marlins billboards and bumps in and out of our telecast today. There's the look from high above Petco. There's a line drive to center field in Petco.
That's the pitcher, Rich, by the way.
That is Luis Perdomo. He is now 2 for 7. And don't sleep on him. He'll steal a base like he did the other night.
Yeah, he will.
As a pinch runner. And the Padres have a hit in each inning. A double in the first. A solo homer by Melvin Upton Jr. That was in the second. Perdomo's leadoff hit here.
I will say that stolen base isn't as egregious as it seemed at the time. He just really went on seeing a ball in the dirt. And in the minor leagues, a lot of teams work a lot on that.
Liner to left. Another hit. Yelich cuts it off. And San Diego, with something happening here in the third. John Jay follows the Perdomo hit with one of his own.
John Jay just doing what he does, letting that ball get deep, slapping it the other way. When he gets hot, he can get on a tear. Because his swing is actually short. He's got a lot of movement before the swing, but the swing itself is actually short. He does a good job of keeping his hands close to his body. Keeping that barrel in the zone a long time.
Now Myers. Ozuna. Perdomo is tagging. Ozuna has it, and Perdomo won't budge from second. Justin Nicolino gets the first out of the third, and that brings up Matt Kemp.
I tell you what, I do like the fact of how alert Perdomo is on the bases. He's not just one of those pitchers just hanging out there. You'd see a lot of guys just kind of hang out, not even bluff like they're going to tag up there, but I like it.
Well, here is Kemp now. As we noted, the Padres are in throwback uniform mode on a way back Wednesday. These uniforms worn between 91 and 2001, and maybe the best team of that run. That Padre ball club that went to the World Series and lost to the Yankees in '98. Terrific outfield on that team. This outfield's not bad, right? I mean, you got Kemp, Jay, Upton is starting to play better. The outfield in '98, Steve Finley in center field. He was a really good player. The Hall of Famer and the legend Tony Gwynn was in right, and Greg Vaughn, who popped 50 homers that year and drove in 119. Vaughn was in left. That one is popped up. Bohr, battling the sun, makes a catch. All-Star Saturday on the 18th, Marlins and Rockies. Remember, it's a 4:10 start. The first 5,000 fans get a Luis Castillo All-Star bobblehead, courtesy of Goya. And you can pick up the all-you-can-eat seats for just $28. Come celebrate the career of a great Marlin, Luis Castillo. Gold gloves, all-star appearances. And Louis will join the show on Saturday.
Oh, that's going to be a good day to get to see old Louis. He's one of my favorite teammates. Just a really, really fun guy. He really is. He was my card partner in the minor leagues, too. We used to play cards together in the locker room.
Really?
Yeah. Louis a really smart card player.
Ozuna is there. And Solarte lines out. Nicolino dodges one here in the third. It's still 1-1. La Lechonera. Now, Chris, how come I didn't see you doing this?
Because I like my knees rich. That's why.
That's a good point. How cool is that?
That's pretty cool.
Wave pool at Mission Beach. I had a chance yesterday to go out to Coronado, walk around, see the Hotel Del out there. Just many, many things to do, places to go, people to see, like Luis Perdomo. in a 1-1 ball game. The Padres and the Marlins finishing off a 3-game set. Christian Yelich comes to the plate. He drove in Miami's run back in the first. Marcell Ozuna, Justin Bour will follow. Marlins lineup without Giancarlo Stanton. Ichiro is in. Ichiro has a hit. He's 1 for 2. The adjustments that Stanton is trying to make at the plate, Don Mattingly felt might stick a little better if he was not in game action today. He is available to pinch hit later on tonight. Explain that, Press, because when you make a big change as a hitter, why can't you make it in batting practice and have it translate that night in a game?
Well, baseball is a little bit different from other sports. In other sports, you have at least 2 days usually in between games. Baseball is different. Baseball is the very next night. And being an offensive player in baseball is unlike being an offensive player in any other sport. In baseball, the defense controls the ball, so everything is reaction when you're on offense in baseball. And that is why it's harder to initially put in a plan or to get your body to do what you're trying to get it to do, because you have to have so many factors in place so that you can react to the baseball. You have to have balance. You have to have timing. You have to make sure that your bat path is good. And when those things get all out of whack, it takes time to put those together, especially for a big guy. He's got longer moving parts. His arms are longer. The stride can be a little longer.
Good take by Yelich. Perdomo walked off the mound thinking he had the strikeout. That one, it could have gone either way, but it was a ball, according to Corey Blazer. 2-2. Count full at 3-2. Yelich, terrific year. He and Marcell Ozuna certainly all-star worthy. Yelich has driven in 31 now. He's been in the top 10 all year as far as on base percentage, and has really taken to the number 3 spot in the order. Remember, the discussion at the start of the year was, well, you know, where's Yelich going to hit? Don Mattingly felt he was a number 3 hitter. Barry Bonds likes him in that spot as well. Perdomo gets strikeout.
97. Reached back and got a little bit more right there and had some movement at 97.
Even during the day, this copyrighted telecast is presented under the authority of the Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts, descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. Marcell Ozuna.
No!
That was Preston, not Ozuna yelling. But I'm sure Ozuna let out a little yelp as well.
The good thing was a changeup, I believe, because you know, at least he took something off of this. And that's when it just chases you. When you're a batter, you're trying to go back, but the ball has that type of run on it too. So the further you go back, you're actually staying in the path of the baseball. 85 miles an hour, so he'll shake that off.
All right, now the Padres are shifting Bour with 3 infielders on the right side. And Ramirez, the shortstop, the lone guy on the left side.
And Perdomo's got good run on his fastball, so this may again play into Justin Bour's hands going the other way.
Well, the interesting thing on Monday night, you see the hits by direction, is that the Padres were pounding him outside with fastballs, and Bour went to left 3 times for hits, despite the shift over to right. Perdomo missed in on that one.
And those numbers say that he's hitting the ball all over the place. So you can't just stay away and think he's going to pull it.
And that's where Norris just set up, was out. Perdomo hit the glove with the fastball, but it was outside. It's 2-0. Ozuna at first.
But when you look at the outfield, Melvin Upton Jr. in left is swung around towards the left field line just a tad. He's pretty good ways off a straight up and left right there. There's a big gap in that left center field. I mean, there's about as much room between John Jay and right as there is between Upton and John Jay. And John Jay shaded towards the left center side.
Ground ball, base hit, left field. I just don't get it. I mean, look, if you're going to shift, that's great. But if you pitch a guy like Bohr, who has shown all year that he can hit the ball to the left, it doesn't add up.
At some point, you got to say, you know what? Let's stop this, because this Perdomo's ball runs away, which is perfect to a guy like Justin Bohr when he's trying to go the other way. You just stay on the fastball. You don't even have to hit it hard to get a hit when there's that much room over there.
So Bohr has his 4th hit. They've all been to left field. And here's Real Muto, his 4th hit of the series. Real Muto bounced to 3rd. And Perdomo, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. You can see what the Padres like about Perdomo just looking at him throw. It's really unique to have a guy pitching in the major leagues as a starter who's never started a game in the minors above single A. Real Muto to right. That's going to get down for a hit. Ozuna, a 3rd. He'll be sent, and he scores. Down to 2nd. Sliding in is Real Muto. Everybody is safe. That was a stop-and-go job at 3rd by Marcell Ozuna and Lenny Harris. Harris was watching Kemp in right. He had a stop sign up and then quickly turned it to a green light, and Ozuna adjusted.
See Kemp with a throw. That ball came out high. Good job by Ozuna scoring there. Good job by JT reading that high throw, realizing it can't be cut off.
Padres are going to intentionally walk Echeverria to pitch to Rojas.
I believe part of that problem on that ball was Echeverria didn't really get a good jump from second base. Ozuna. Echeverria's at the plate. Ozuna didn't get a good jump at second base, so it really caused a late sign or late adjustment on Lenny Harris's part.
Well, it all started with a hit batter. Remember, Ozuna took one on the shoulder. Padres did that shift, and Bohr crossed him up again. And so Real Muto, a solid liner to right, and a big at bat now for Rojas, because you've got the pitcher on deck. Perdomo is looking for an escape hatch out of this 4th inning. And the middle infield, actually the entire infield, is looking for a ground ball as a way out. And Rojas takes a strike. Time called, and somebody from Miami's dugout was either talking to Rojas or talking to the home plate umpire. And it almost looked like it was Rojas. Norris smothers one in the dirt. It's 1-1. So a ball and a strike with the bags loaded. Perdomo hunting for a ground ball or a strikeout. And Rojas comes out of his shoes. Counts 1-2. on a pitch that, as you see on Fox Tracks, was well in. To center, not too deep. Jay in there, makes the catch, runner tags, coming home, and the throw goes to third. Sliding in his bore, Rojas delivers, and Miami stretches the lead to 3-1.
Good at bat by Rojas, getting the job done. Sac flies are very important. Good work, get that run home. Give the Marlins a little bit more of a cushion. 3-1 now for the Fish.
And that brings Nicolino to the plate. Marlins have done it with small ball here. All of their hits have been singles. Little dribbler to Ramirez. On to first in time, but the Fish get two and lead it 3-1 in San Diego. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By Checkers, fast foodies know the deal. And by Lexus of Pembroke Pines, price, service, selection, you're gonna love us. Hotel del Coronado. Hotel of the Stars long ago and still to this day. Bat flipping. Oh, that's right. It's the bat flipping contest. We love the bat flips in Korea. I mean, look at that. Now you too can be a bat flipper, and maybe you'll win a trip to the Major League All-Star Game. Post a video of your bat flip to @Fox Sports with the hashtag #BatFlipContest. Fox Bat Flip Contest. You got till June 26th. Visit foxsports.com/batflip for more information. Well, Justin Nicolino has the lead again. It's 3-1 now. Derek Norris, Melvin Upton Jr., and Alexei Ramirez. That one fouled back. On a way back Wednesday, the Padres are going way back from 91 to 2001 uniforms. We're talking about the 98 Padres who lost in the World Series to the Yankees, were swept in 4. They beat the Astros in the division series and beat the Braves in the NLCS. The Bruce Bochy-led Padres in 98 won 98 games. Ken Caminiti was their third baseman. We went through that very talented outfield of Vaughn, Finley, and Gwynn. Wally Joyner was at first, kind of in the twilight of his career.
Was Benito here then? Benito Santiago, was he here?
A young Carlos Hernandez got 129 games behind the plate. Ben Davis and Greg Myers were backup catchers on that team. Myers, actually Davis was there for just one game, so Myers was the guy. Kilvio Veras was at second. Chris Gomez was at short. Kevin Brown was the ace of that staff.
Yes, he was.
Andy Ashby, Joey Hamilton, Sterling Hitchcock. And Mark Langston was on that staff as well. Bohr in pursuit, and he can't come up with it. Trying for a over-the-shoulder running catch.
This play is a lot harder than it looks. Because, as I've said this before, when your glove is behind your eyes, and in this case his glove was around shoulder level, so it's behind his eyes, so you get the baseball flashing through, the ball passes your eyes, and then it's hard to look right into your glove at that same time. So you're kind of guessing and feeling for where that ball is going to end up.
You know, as well, it's a tough play to make on any day or in conditions, but when it's sunny like this and you're looking back up into the sun, that's even tougher. That's a cool shot.
Yeah, it is.
Norris fouls it back and out of play. So that was 98. You were a Marlin in 98, right?
Yes, I was. I played against all those guys.
How about Arky Cianfrocco? He was on that bench. Ruben Sierra.
Yep.
Mark Sweeney, who just stopped by the booth. Good to see him.
What a great guy, man. I had fun. He was one of my teammates in Colorado, and I really enjoyed him as a person.
Nicolino with a fastball gets strikeout number 2 as he gets Norris. And here comes Upton. There he is.
Hey.
What a group that is. A pair of analysts, Mudd, Mark Grant, and of course Mark Sweeney, and the Hall of Famer Dick Enberg.
He leads in games called and hair in that booth.
Oh, that's not right. That's not right. Upton sneaks that one down into the corner. Yelich retrieves, and Melvin Upton Jr. has gone homer and double here today. They're much more formal over in their booth, right?
Yeah, today they are. You know, we're usually the most overdressed bunch in the crew, but we get to wear polos today, and those guys are nicely done up in suit and tie. I will say this. I do always feel a little naked when I don't have a tie on, Rich. It's such a program thing to me now, being at work with a suit and tie on, and this feels a little odd. Like I feel like maybe I need to throw on a tie just to feel a little bit more like myself.
Well, they have their impressive set over there with the San Diego stuff behind them. Dick Enberg is looking like he's doing Wimbledon. Mudd dresses up nicely. He cleans up very well.
Yeah, he does.
I might add, he and Sweeney. Look, I mean, look at that. Look how formal that is.
It looks good.
Yes.
Are we slacking today, Rich?
We have food spread up all over our booth.
yeah, we are.
Remnants of this 3-game series. There we are.
Yeah, we do. We got all kinds of stuff over here. We got snacks.
Liner to center on a hop. Ozuna will play it. Upton had to hold. And Alexei Ramirez, a loud single. And Nicolino's in a first and third spot with 1 out.
Well, these Padres are hacking. Before that, Alexei Ramirez at bat. 6 of the previous 7 batters swung at the first pitch. In the 3rd inning, he faced 5 batters, Nicolino, and only threw 7 pitches.
Here is Schimpf. Ryan Schimpf. In the air to left and deep. That'll score a run. Yelich makes the catch. Tagging and scoring is up to. And the Padres get one of those runs back. When the Marlins return home on a Friday night, they'll take on the Colorado Rockies, and the Rockies are hot. They've won 4 straight. They're 2 under 500. Marlins Live, brought to you by South Florida Honda Dealers. Craig Minervini and Preston Wilson. Preston Wilson? That's you out on set, huh?
That's me. I'll be out on the set.
You really have to dress up for that. That's very formal.
Well, I get a lot of airtime doing Marlins Live, so I got to make sure that I present well.
That's right.
Here during the games, I love doing the games, but we're seen sparingly around these parts.
That's true. We're both wearing shorts and flip-flops, so there. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Perdomo, and he swings and misses. It counts 0-2. The Rockies, speaking of, all of a sudden they're making some noise in Colorado, and they're leading the Yankees 5-2 in the bottom of the 5th.
I believe they designated Jose Reyes for assignment today.
They did. They decided to part ways with Reyes. Nicolino gets another strikeout, but the Padres get one of those runs back to the 5th. Ichiro leads it off, 3-2 Miami. Is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. That's a big boat down there. 3-2, Marlins on top of the Padres. That's right, Comic-Con is coming. Convention Center's ready, and so are all the photographers for the Japanese media contingent following Ichiro, who has a hit. And so if you add the 9 years over in Japan to what he's done in 16 or parts of 16 seasons here, he is at 4,256. Both of his swings produced ground balls on the infield. A little dribbler up first, which was a hit, And a bouncer back to the mound. Perdomo gets a strike. That was back in the third. Prado and Yelich will follow Ichiro. Padres seem to have made an adjustment pitching to Ichiro. They have pounded him in, starting with last night after he got 3 hits on Monday. They go away and Ichiro flips it into the seats. A .350 hitter right now. And he takes outside. His career numbers .314 career average, .357 on base. His slugging percentage .405. Pitches up. Ball in the dirt. And of course, a little closer to 3,000. 22 hits away. And that one ends up in the glove of Norris. So a strikeout for Perdomo. And the first out of the 5th.
Well, Perdomo's shown signs of really good stuff today. Throwing a few good changeups at times. Really good life and movement on his fastball. Doesn't really sink. It's more of a run that runs towards that third base side of the plate. But the talent's there. You can see why teams would take that chance to take him out of A-ball and put him on a big league roster.
5 years of A-ball in the Cardinals organization. Martin Prado. Another hit for Prado. 6 hits in the series and a whopping 18 hits on the road trip. Guided out to short. Ramirez throws him out. And before Yelich gets comfortable, Geico arrives. The Marlins moment from '94. Speaking of the Cardinals, 8 doubles the Marlins hit on this date in '94. Jeff Conine had 3. And his hair was perfect.
Not bad for a world-class racquetball player.
Oh, don't start that.
I had to, Niner.
The only, I mean, look, he was an incredible racquetball player, but I think the payback would be if Niner were to get back into racquetball, play in a major tournament, they would announce him as an all-star, Major League All-Star Game MVP, 2-time world champion, 2-time All-Star, and not even acknowledge that he played racquetball in the past.
Tell you what, I'll wait for that moment where he's announced at a racquetball match, all right?
Here's the 1-1. Yelich swings and misses. Yelich banged the ball down the left field line. It clipped the little cutout, and it was played perfectly by Upton, and that held Yelich to a single. He did not get a run with that hit. And he struck out in the 4th. Right there is where it hit. Breaking ball, top to first. Myers to the bag, and Perdomo goes 1, 2, 3 in the 5th. Halfway through in San Diego. Brings you greater coverage of baseball. Madison Bumgarner rolls. Last 10 starts, look at that, 7-0, 1.27 ERA. James Taillon in his second major league start, blanking the Mets. Jock Peterson, 2 homers. Dodgers finally beat the Diamondbacks 7-4. Jam shot by John Jay. Prado throws him out. 1 pitch, 1 out for Justin Nicolino in the 5th. He's got the top of the order for the Padres, with Will Myers and Matt Kemp coming up. Many of you are in and out of ball games today. There's 4 going on in Major League Baseball. If you happened upon this, Miami's going for a sweep, a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Padres. As well, Ichiro in the lineup. Giancarlo Stanton not in the lineup. And Ichiro is 1 for 3. So his hit total in Japan and Major League Baseball now right alongside of Pete Rose. And he's just 22 shy of 3,000. The Marlins got a run in the 1st and added 2 in the 4th in support of Nicolino. Backhand. Very nice play by Adeiny Echevarria.
Sometimes we watch Major League Baseball and we forget how difficult it is because these guys make it look so easy. This is not an easy play. Throwing across his body, somehow arresting his movement towards that outfield and getting back and throwing towards first base and on target. That's a really, really good play.
If you go by fielding percentage, those are the leaders at short. Of course, there are so many other metrics to measure defense. None of them seem to be perfect, whether it's a ultimate zone rating, range factor, all of that, especially in this day and age as fielders are now moved around.
Yeah, I think the whole range thing is really something that's got to go until they take into account where the fielder starts before the ball is hit. It's really just all smoke and mirrors. Because if you have a coach or a team that positions well, you don't have to go that far, but you're still going to end up in the same area as somebody else who started further away.
I think they're getting close to that. I wouldn't totally go smoke and mirrors, but I'm with you that it's flawed because a lot of those metrics are measured in videotape on a static grid for a player, a shortstop for example, making a play 4 steps to his left if the pre-pitch positioning is what you need. That's what you're looking for.
That's what I'm saying.
And you hope with StatCast, with the ability to shoot the whole field and see everything when the ball leaves the bat, that, and I think it's sooner rather than later, that you'll be able to mix that into the stew or the witch's brew or the equation as far as defensive numbers.
I don't know. I think sometimes we get a little bit too caught up in the analytics as far as just looking at numbers only instead of looking with your eyes at a play and understanding what's going on the field, because they say numbers don't lie, but they also don't tell the whole story sometimes.
Well, Perry Hill's been doing it for a long time. He does a nice job of positioning Miami's infield. To left, Solarte, and off the glove of Yelich, picks it up. Kemp headed to third. He will not score. Yelich fires it in home. Boy, Christian hit the wall hard. After the Kemp hit, Solarte bangs one off the left field wall.
This is a great effort. He almost catches this ball on a dead run. That's an incredible effort to try to get to that ball. He has such good routes in the outfield. Just couldn't time to jump right. You know, if he had a little more time, I think he would have caught it, but he just had to stab at it at the last minute. That's still a great attempt. That's one of those balls that you don't catch, but not many left fielders are even going to come that close to that ball.
Kemp does not run well. Not at this point in his career. And so he holds at third. Solarte is at second, and now Nicolino, who cruised through the first 2 outs, needs another one to hold on to this lead. And he busts one into Norris, who was bounced out and struck out. Upton is on deck. And a strike.
That's an angry beard right there, man. Every time I look at it, I'm in awe of his beard. There's no unity there. It's like each strand of hair is in business for itself.
Breaking ball foul back and out of play. We went through the myriad of beard styles and types, from lawn gnome to ZZ Tops.
See, look, that looks like a nice part of town right there. You know, that all the hedges are trimmed, everything's in line. It's full neighborhood, but everything's all together there. Derek Norris looks like his neighbors don't even speak to each other.
So he's more country than suburbs.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. One and two.
Yeah, Cashner's beard looks like, you know the mailman by first name. He comes to your front door. Norris's looks like the mailman just throws the mail on the curb and leaves, let you sort it out.
Here's a pitch, and it's in. See, now that's where you need advanced metrics, Press. You're hammering zone rating and range factor.
Yeah, the beard is big now, man. The beard is really big. It's having a good moment. Even the mustache and beard championships are getting time on TV. You know that's something where hair becomes a sport.
Just missed. Nicolino came back in where he got a strike earlier in the at-bat, and he missed. So the count's full. Runners second and third, but remember, Upton's on deck. He's homered and doubled. So you get a sense Nicolino would rather deal with Norris here. pulled foul. Matt Kemp with a 2-out single. And then Solarte's double off the top of the sprinting Yelich, off the top of his glove, and then off the wall.
I find it interesting now that all these teams, you know, if your hair starts growing too long, some teams make you get a haircut, but you can have a beard down to your navel.
Breaking ball, line to left. That's a hit. Yelich has it. Runner coming home. Yelich's throw is not in time. And the Padres have the lead. Derek Norris with a 2-run single. Solarte just getting in under the Real Muto tag.
Well, it looks like his hands may have gotten to the plate before Real Muto could get the tag on him. Good throw by Yelich, though. Ball ran up the line just a tad towards third.
He's safe. I don't think there's any question that he was safe.
No, he looked like he was safe.
But for Justin Nicolino now, he's lost a lead for the second time in this ball game. Nick Whitgren in Miami's bullpen. So here is Upton. Home run to right center in the second, and then double down the left field line in the fourth. Derek Norris out at second. And the pitch is down. Padres as a team have started to hit once the calendar turned to June. They are second in the National League in June in average. That's into center field. Norris around third, and that will score him. Four consecutive hits after two are out have yielded 3 runs for San Diego, and Don Mattingly not real pleased. It's 5-3.
Melvin Upton Jr. swinging the bat really well today. Good bat path, good extension through the middle of the field. And I believe that's going to be it for Nicolino. Mattingly's seen enough.
Well, he didn't want to let this game get any further away. There's a lot of baseball to be played. It's 5-3 San Diego, and Nicolino gives up the ball in the 5th. Had 2 quick outs, but could not finish the inning. Wes Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. 4 straight hits and 3 runs for San Diego. Marlins back home for a Father's Day of Sunday Fun Day. June 19th, Marlins Rockies 110. The Pepsi 4 for 74 pack is in play. First 5,000 dads get a Don Mattingly t-shirt courtesy of Monster. Dads and kids can run the bases in the Diamond Dash after the game. Well, this day ended quickly for Justin Nicolino. Had a 3-1 lead. Padres got a run in the 4th, and now 3 here chase the Marlins starter. Nick Whitgren takes over.
Well, Nicolino's going to have to make an adjustment if these teams are going to continue to swing early like they did against him. He can't just throw first pitch strikes. He's got to throw first pitch quality strikes, because when they're hacking and you have what Nicolino has as far as stuff and velocity, you have to be more fine if they're going to be that aggressive.
Whitgren to face Alexei Ramirez, who's 1 for 2. Whitgren a scoreless inning in the first game of this series, and a scoreless inning in Arizona.
Well, he's earning some trust from Don Mattingly. We've heard his number called quite a few times on his road trip.
Upton at first. Down that right field line in the corner and foul near the Petco porch. Struck him out. Ramirez doesn't like it. He howls at the plate. And he and Corey Blazer a bit of a chat. And he's got an argument. Padres roar back to life and lead at 5-3.
guys. I may have found one of the best seats in the house. I will admit, though, these sofas are made of leather. It's a bit toasty down here. Hey, Petco Park, home of the 2016 All-Star Game, and one of the things that they're going to try and introduce this year for the Fan Fest is 3D glasses. They were testing out the technology yesterday. They want to show fans what it's like to be behind the batting cages at batting practice or go inside of an awesome play that takes place during the game. I even had a chance to try those glasses on. Guys, I think that I look pretty good in those.
Yeah, you do.
Space age.
What did you see? What was the difference in 3D?
Well, instead of just seeing the play straight on, you can pick what angle you want to see it at. So if you want to see it from behind home plate, if you want to see it from down the first baseline or the third baseline, or even from out in center field, right or left. So it's really cool because any angle that you want to see the play, you're going to be able to see it.
Where are those seats, by the way?
These seats that I'm sitting in are directly behind home plate, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm getting a little warm. That sun is not only beating down, but I think it's bouncing off of the leather. Luckily, I've got some suntan lotion over here that I can put on because I think I am taking in a lot of sun today.
Yeah, be safe. What's your what's the strength of that? Is it
Looks like it is SPF 30.
good? Well, that's good for about half an hour, and then you need to reapply. Marcell Ozuna takes a strike. Justin Bour, JT Realmuto will follow. 6th inning, and all of a sudden Luis Perdomo is in the driver's seat. He's got a 5-3 lead. Ozuna's bounced into a double play, hit by a pitch, and then scored in a 2-run 4th. Perdomo sitting at 73 pitches. This is only his 3rd start of the season. He's made 15 relief appearances as well. No swing. He's actually, as a starter, looked pretty good at times. And his last time out in Colorado, gave up just 3 earned runs. Went 101 pitches, struck out 7. Padres beat the Rockies. He got a no decision. Ozuna.
He just took a tour of the home plate area, that's all.
A little roundabout way before he jettisoned his bat and gloves. Watch this. You know what, though? I salute him. Some guys just drop their stuff all over the plate. There he goes. A little easier access for the bat boy.
Was he expecting a warm-up pitch right there when he was going across home plate?
Here's Bour now. All right, now the Padres infield is back to a straight-up defense against Bour. With a runner at first, and that's Ozuna. Pitch is in case you missed it back in the 4th. In almost the same situation. Ozuna was at first with 1 out. San Diego's infield defense was way over, 3 infielders right side, and Bour again hit a sharp grounder to left for a hit.
Is this the okay? We admit we got it wrong that they're playing straight up now pretty much, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with a shift as long as your plan of attack as far as pitching a guy like him is consistent. Andy Green's the skipper of the Padres. One and 2. Bour sends that to left. Upton goes back at the track, and he makes the catch.
Good swing by Justin Bour. Taking Melvin Upton Jr. all the way back up against the fence.
So one out. Here's Real Muto's bounced out and has an infield hit, or has an RBI hit. Miami 5 hits. The Padres have banged out 10. When asked how a team without their slugger, essentially in terms of production over the last 3 to 4 weeks, Giancarlo Stanton, and without their leadoff man, their spark plug, D. Gordon, how have they stayed above 500? It's been a collective effort. Ozuna, Yelich, Prado, Dietrich filling in at second. But you can't look past Real Muto, who is in his second year as Miami's starting catcher. This was kind of his scheduled arrival year anyways. But he ended up as a starter last year after the first month. And Jared Saltalamacchia continued to struggle. And so here is Real Muto in mid-June, over 300. He's got 13 doubles. Fastball in. It's 2-1.
I mentioned in the open, Rich, that the Padres have not played very well in series finale games. Well, it's a little worse than I thought. They're actually 1-20 this year on the last game of a series.
Really?
Yes.
So, what do your baseball instincts tell you about that? Why? Is there a rhyme or a reason, or is it just happenstance?
I just don't think they swing the bats very well. I mean, their overall record isn't great either, but that's just not winning. I don't think there's any particular thing, because on different days you're going to run into the ace or you're going to run into the 5 guy at the end of a series. It's just one of those things.
And Real Muto goes down. Perdomo with a good breaking ball and a strikeout.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is that one that when it comes out of his hand, it's at strike level, but then that rotation finally catches up and that ball bottoms out at back of the plate.
Echeverria now. Ozuna led the inning off with a walk. If you missed the open of our show, Miami today announcing that Jose Fernandez is going to skip his next start and go to the back of the line. Adam Conley will start on Friday. Jose will start the first game of the Atlanta series at Marlins Park. And that is something the Marlins talked about early in spring training, to get him to 180 innings or roughly thereabouts at the end of the regular season. They want him to skip a start, get to 180, and rather than shut him down in September, the plan is to skip a couple of starts. On a hop, and it gets by Ramirez, who tried to backhand the ball. Miami's got runners first and second. It's going to go as a base hit.
Well, Etch needs a little bit of luck here. This is one of those liners that did have time to get in front of, tried to backhand it. But Etch just hit a few balls hard this series. Good to see him get one to go through. That was questionable off the bat.
Darren Balsley, the fine pitching coach of the Padres, who's so good at reclamation projects. I think one of the very underrated pitching coaches in baseball. The second part of the Jose story is that's been planned. The Marlins had planned to skip him a couple of times. The other spot in the schedule, it's a real strong possibility, is All-Star break, because then you have those natural 4 days and then move him back again in the rotation. You see just 60 career starts. So Adam Conley goes Friday. The rest of the rotation falls in place. And Jose hops on, or back on, against Atlanta. Here's Rojas, who had a sac fly in the 4th. Derek Dietrich is on deck. Miami trying to get back the runs they lost in the 5th inning. San Diego got 3 and erased a 3-2 lead. Perdomo misses away. Brandon Maurer is ready in San Diego's bullpen. Two and one to Rojas, who got the start at second. Dietrich still nursing that sore foot from getting hit there the other night.
Swung over the top of that.
A big cut. Count 2-2. Ozuna started this inning with a walk. Echeverria's at first, a 2-out single. Rojas stays alive. 2-2. Nationals and Cubs 1-1, top 5. Phillies tonight and home against Toronto. Mets home against the Pirates. That's a foul ball. And the Rockies, whom the Marlins get on Friday night for 4, continue to play well at home, looking for their 4th straight win and trying to beat the Yankees. 5-3 Colorado, bottom 7. Little soft pop-up into shallow right, and it's caught there. Myers makes the over-the-shoulder catch, and the Marlins are kept off the board. Solarte sliding by as he grabbed it.
The fish tacos at Petco Park are the way to go. These fish tacos also appear on a list that was compiled by USA Today as far as the top 20 foods at ballparks around the country. The other item that appears on that list, the ceviche at Marlins Park. You can actually go to a website, you can see it below, and cast your vote for what you think is the best ballpark food in the country. You can also check out that link on our Twitter account at Fox Marlins. So while you guys are going to cast your vote, I'm going to enjoy some fish tacos.
Well, you do that. That was quite the link. Can we? Oh, it's on our Twitter site. I was about to say, I looked at that link. Very nice way with the tacos. There on the ground goes Ryan Schimpf. All right, Press, can you type this into your browser quickly? 10best.com/awards/travel/best ballpark dash. Well, there's 2 in there, right? Well, what if you don't have a DVR? Come on. All right, we tweeted it. It's a running commentary from the booth. From the booth.
Got a screenshot. Got to screenshot it, Rich.
I think ceviche is 4th. There it is. It's up there long enough that you can jot it down. Thanks, Truck. It's nice when they listen to you once in a while, Press. Pitch a Penny presents for your consideration The Little Ninja, which would be a great movie title. It's also the nickname of Alexei Amarista. Wickren's pitch is fouled back. Wickren into his 2nd inning in relief. Justin Nicolino started for Miami and had his 5th inning rudely interrupted by 4 consecutive hits and 3 runs, and that was hit for him. Nicolino 4 2/3, 10 hits, 5 runs, all earned. Echeverria gets Amarista. The Fan Express, 30 to 50 people in a motor coach all headed to a ball game. It's just $40 a person. They'll pick you up wherever you are, drop you off at the ballpark. 877 Marlins or email groups@marlins.com. John Jay. Three-time All-American at Miami. All of those College World Series teams are on their way to the promised land, Omaha.
Maybe the only time that Omaha, Nebraska is described as the promised land.
Oh, wait a minute. Warren Buffett, Creighton basketball, College World Series. Liner to right center field. Ozuna has it. And a hit for Jay, his 2nd. And that gives Will Myers an at-bat. Preston, have you ever been to Omaha, Nebraska?
Yes, Rich.
All right. And was that to go to the College World Series, or were you playing in the minor leagues?
I just happened to go through there. It's definitely not a College World Series. I didn't.
I know. I was referencing maybe you went to watch the College World Series.
Nah. I was always usually playing minor league baseball during that. It's a nice town, but it's. I mean, I'm sitting in San Diego right now.
Right center. That's crushed. And it lands between Ichiro and Ozuna. And that's going to score a run. Will Myers knocks home John Jay. I don't know if there was some miscommunication or if that ball just found a home.
I don't know, but that's got to be fixed. Neither one of these outfielders are going full bore right here, and I got a problem with that. You got to go all out. I don't know. It's almost like both of them were expecting the other to catch it, where I don't know. You just got to go all out in outfield. You can't expect the other guy to catch the ball. That ball should not fall.
Well, you're right about that. Myers has a double. Just in watching both Ichiro and Ozuna, neither were in a full sprint.
Yeah. And that's why I say you can't really blame one or the other. You blame both of them, because neither one of them are all out going to go get that ball, and you have to be.
Wickren misses outside, and again the Padres doing damage with 2 outs.
Yeah, I get really bothered by inconsistent or poorly played outfield. And that was one of those cases where you both have to be going off the bat as hard as you can. 2 outs in an inning, you catch that ball, the inning's over. And it looked like both of them were looking for the next guy to do the job.
Two and one. Kemp rolls it foul. Wickren's fastball gets Matt Kemp, but the Padres get another and lead at 6-3. In the world converge on historic Oakmonds for the 116th U.S. Open Championship. Live coverage begins Thursday, June 16th on FS1. It continues through Sunday, June 19th on Fox. And you can watch the entire tournament live on Fox Sports Go. And if you like drones, we got drones. Lots of them. All right, Preston Wilson.
Wow.
And just like that, here I am.
You like the food genie.
I really am. I really am. So here are the famed fish tacos from Rimels.
Okay.
They have a green chili garlic sauce that they put on these fish tacos.
Okay.
They are amazing. I ate mine in about 30 seconds.
And wow, thank you for that. Now, how do they compare to the tin fish, which is a San Diego staple? It's like 2 blocks from the ballpark.
I believe in honesty as the best policy. I think these are better.
Really?
Wow.
I really do. I think these are better.
That's high praise for anyone that's had tacos at the tin fish.
I'm curious to hear your assessment after you try them.
Okay.
And the tortilla, it's a corn tortilla. It's so good. I think that makes a difference too.
Okay.
Well, they look good.
They look really good.
They are very good.
Preston, you can look at them for a half an inning.
I know. That's going to be the hard part, is getting through this inning. Seriously.
Derek Dietrich is up. All right, Jess, thank you.
You are welcome.
Is the garlic sauce strong in there?
No,
because I got to sit next to Preston for 5 hours. Okay?
Rich, I have very few eyebrows anyway. I don't want you melting the rest of them off.
We may be sending this over to Glenn Geffner before too long, too.
You know what? I have some gum. We can all share the gum when we get onto the plane. How about that?
Hi, Rich.
All right, let me know what you think, guys.
It's a high fly ball over the heart of the plate.
Things I do to help the team. Derek Dietrich bounces out in a pinch hitting appearance against Brandon Maurer. Here's Ichiro. Ichiro's 1 for 3. He's got a dozen hits on this road trip, 12 for 25. And Maurer throws a strike. Of course, Ichiro's hit in the first brought him to 4,256. Brought him even with Pete Rose's major league hit total. And he's way out in front of that. It's 0-2. Maurer misses away. Ichiro 22 away from 3,000. Nobody thought he would be this close this early. Another dribbler back to the mound. He's not had good swings today. And he's 1 for 4. And that brings up Martin Prado. By the way, just for a point of reference, from Omaha, Wade Boggs. Do you know that Wade Boggs is from Omaha?
I did not know that.
Warren Buffett, of course. But here's a great name, a great baseball name.
Okay.
Rex Barney.
Rex Barney. All right.
You guys, now, if you don't know Rex Barney, you should. He was a pitcher in the big leagues, and he was the public address announcer for the Baltimore Orioles for a long time. No longer. He's passed away. The Fondas, Henry Fonda, Peter Fonda, Bob Gibson.
Here we go.
Now I'm trying to give you newfound respect for Omaha.
Rich, just because a lot of good people are born there doesn't make it a great place.
You have a fish taco and calm down, will you?
I can't wait.
Prado is out. 1, 2, 3 go the fish. Tacos. 6-3. San Diego. To you by La Lechonera. And in San Diego, the Marlins had early leads and squandered them both. Padres tied it in the second, tied it and took the lead in the fifth. And for the Marlins, a shot at a 3-game sweep is diminished a bit. There's Brian Ellington. Ellington goes to work in the bottom of the 7th. This was a Justin Nicolino start, 4 2/3, 5 runs, 10 hits. And he did not make it through the 5th. Nick Wittgren, who didn't get much help from his outfield, gave up a run in the 6th, an inning and a third for Wittgren. Preston looks much more relaxed after a fish taco.
You know what? I think it put me in a good place. Really did. Snacking in general is good for my overall
demeanor.
well-being. Yeah.
Here's Solarte, and he takes in Yangervis Solarte with Derek Norris, Melvin Upton Jr. A way back Wednesday for the Padres, turning the clock back uniform-wise. Not quite the Nate Colbert, brown and mustard. Rojas on to first, and Solarte is out. And the guy who had maybe the biggest hit of the ball game is Derek Norris, and he's up. Norris a 2-run single in the 5th. There's your Padre box score. 2 more hits for John Jay, 2 more for Matt Kemp. And Melvin Upton Jr. a big day as well. Solo homer, a double, RBI single. Ellington, a hard thrower, misses in. Brian Ellington can equal the success that he had last year. He will add a lot of depth to Miami's pen. Kyle Barraclough, David Phelps have been nice in front of A.J. Ramos. Long run, and that's going to land just beyond the wall. One and two. You saw the bullpen shot of Miami's pen. The bullpens here are in left center field, and they're sort of terraced with the Padres, then the Marlins, and then the Picnickers right behind with some nice table side service.
Yeah, you can almost bet that always the visiting team is going to be up there closer to the fans.
Pop up infield, Real Muto makes the catch. And there's 2 down. Send the fish. Is that code for Lenny Harris to wave a guy home?
No, I think that was the code for having just bring me fish tacos.
Send the fish. There you go. Very nice. Go to marlins.com/fishfamily. There's your bonus code today. Well, here is Melvin Upton Jr. You feel good for this young man to get it back going again. He showed signs of life last year with the Padres. It was a real struggle in Atlanta. He hit a combined 198 with a 279 on base and a 314 slugging percentage in 13 and 14.
You know, I think he got into a situation with the Padres where he was able to work some things out, maybe get with a hitting coach that speaks his language, able to translate things for him. And we're not talking about just an actual language, but some coaches are able to say things in a way that you can digest it, where you get it as soon as they say it. Some coaches are better psychologists than others, you know, to help you buy into what it is that you're working on and help you believe in what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Well, Mark McGwire now the bench coach. Alan Zinter, the hitting coach, but certainly McGwire, a guy that you can lean on. Was a hitting coach in both St. Louis and with the Dodgers, with Don Mattingly, the staff.
Alan Zinter is an old organization mate for me from the Mets. When I first came into baseball, he was there. Could hit, and Z could really hit.
One and two.
I'm really impressed with how quiet Melvin Upton's head is. Like, it doesn't move that much. It used to move a lot when he was struggling, and he's really quieted that down. He's seen the ball so much better now.
Pitch was close. Just at the knees and just a bit of the plate. Let's see what he gets. 2-2. Rockies on Friday. And the Rockies and Yankees have reached the bottom of the 8th. The 8th, it's still 5-3. Colorado on top. Dodgers lead Arizona 3-2 in the desert. Giants are clobbering Milwaukee 8-1. Giants are 14 over.
Oh!
Just got him. Just grazed him.
Yeah. You get grazed by 99. That's not the same as getting grazed by 85. That adrenaline gets pumping really hard.
I just got the jersey.
You got to be really good to hit him. He's not exactly a very wide guy. So you hit him, you've accomplished something.
Our old buddy Tarek Brock coaching at first.
Yeah, he is.
And a mound visit from Real Muto. Who's going to get Ryan Braun? Because out on the West Coast these last few days, a lot of the talk is that the Giants were a team that could get him. And the Dodgers are mentioned. I mean, that's what you want if you're the Brewers, right? You want the Giants and the Dodgers competing in terms of packages. A balk. So Wellington, after hitting Upton, he moved his shoulders and started back.
Yep, he went up. He started his motion. And Alexi does the appropriate thing and tattles on him.
Oh, there were a lot of eyeballs on him. I think he was just the first of many.
I haven't said tattle in a long time, Rich. I just had to.
Left field line, hooking and foul. Cubs and Nationals are 1-1, top 7. By the way, Ryan Braun, not from Omaha. Line drive, leaping catch, Rojas there to snag it. Padres have a 6-3 lead. And we have your refreshments. Jeff Nelson. Tom Mattingly right now finds his ball club down with 2 innings left, down 3. And they're getting into the back end of the Padres bullpen, and it's a pretty good back end. Ryan Buchter is first out, the lefty. Yelich takes a strike. Buchter's opponent's hitting just a .161. Along the way, he had an 18 1/3 scoreless streak, which ran from early April into late May. So Buchter, and of course Fernando Rodney, the Padres closer. This is what you didn't want to have happen, to fall behind and face these guys. Rodney has gone 22 1/3 innings and has not allowed an earned run, just 1 unearned run. So there's that. And that's what Miami is up against here to open up in the 8th. Yelich, Ozuna, Bohr. And that's a strikeout. Yelich didn't check. La Lechonera game summary. 9-game streak for Prado. He has a hit. Ichiro ties Pete Rose's hit mark. As you saw and heard from Craig, Melvin Upton Jr. has had a great day. Upbeat music, right? Ozuna takes out. For a guy like Buchter, his road here is pretty incredible. He was a 33rd round pick by the Nationals. Got to the big leagues for 1 game, 1 inning with the Braves in 2014. Ozuna smacks one into left center field for a hit. Gloucester County College in New Jersey, but a lot of games in the minor leagues, 370 to be exact. He was acquired a couple times. Cubs and Braves traded for him. Signed by the Dodgers, released by Los Angeles, signed by the Cubs. Padres signed him as a minor league free agent in the offseason and added him to the major league roster. And here he is. Chris Johnson gets the at bat. Johnson pitch hitting for Bohr.
I don't think the Cardinals, the Padres crew has figured that out yet. Justin Bohr is up on the scoreboard here.
Hard to miss. It is.
Hey, and they just flash switched it just now.
Yeah, they did.
But you did see Justin Bohr up there for that first flash second. You did.
And you see the old logo because it is a way back Wednesday. They're turning the clock back to the 90s.
Yeah, that was the logo I played under when I was a Marlin.
Way back.
Way back.
Johnson line drive. And out number 2. There it was, just for posterity. Hot change.
Then someone realized it. Yeah.
Yes. Bohr 1 for 3 in this ball game. Now Real Muto against Buchter.
Marlins looking for a little 2-out lightning here.
JT an RBI single in the 4th. So a lot of news and notes, and post-game sound certainly should be interesting for a lot of reasons. The announcement that Jose Fernandez is going to skip a start planned to help get him to that 180 limit by the end of the season. Ichiro getting a hit and drawing even with the Pete Rose total. And of course, certainly in the ball game, the Marlins squandering a couple of leads. Up into the blue sky of San Diego. Rockies just about to finish off the Yankees. A 6-3 lead in the 9th. Real Muto fouls that back, and it's significant to the Marlins for 2 reasons. Number 1, the Rockies are hot, trying to win their 5th straight. Number 2, the Marlins and the Rockies open up a 4-game wraparound series, which is it starts on Friday and ends on Monday. So Colorado is headed to Miami with what looks like a lot of momentum. Nolan Arenado hit his 20th. He's driven in 3 runs in that ball game. Buchter misses outside. That's a great look. Where is that camera?
I'm scared to ask, actually. I don't know where that camera could be.
It's like a satellite picture. Right field tower. There it is. There's actually a suite. Actually, a few suites in that tower. There's a right field tower and a left field tower. I don't know that I'd like to watch the game from that angle, though. I would get a little dizzy. Good at bat by Real Muto as he fouls it back. Ozuna the runner at first. Real Muto, another high pop-up. Nine pitch at bat. And the count's still 2-2. This one should be playable. Myers makes a catch. And Miami is done in the 8th. Padres lead it. It's a 6-3 ball game. Three runs, 7 hits for Miami. That would be Mike Dunn way down there. And you could follow Mike Dunn. You could follow the Marlins or all of Major League Baseball with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, #1 app for live baseball on your phone and your tablet. Chris Johnson stays in the ball game for Justin Bour. He's first, and Mike Dunn out of the bullpen. Takes over for Brian Ellington. This was a Justin Nicolino start. And Dunn misses. Ryan Schimpf getting a chance to play. Was having just a terrific year in El Paso. Mike Dunn gets strike. It's 2-2. So the Rockies win it. They sweep the Yankees 6-3. And Colorado, just like that, is 1 game under at 32-33. Yelich has it. Pitcher spot comes up for the Padres. Fernando Rodney.
Always had that great fastball, but it also has that Bugs Bunny type changeup where guys just really have a hard time picking it up. It's been a weapon for him for years now. That and the slightly tilted cap.
Not the tilted kilt, but the tilted cap.
Tilted cap, yes.
But I guess that could be a weapon as well.
It's a distraction for sure.
Christian Bethancourt gets the at-bat. He swings and misses. Bethancourt fouls it back. It's 0-2. Giants are just about to finish off Milwaukee. It's late in that ball game. 8th inning, 8-1 San Francisco. Nationals and Cubs are still 1-1. Tight one in D.C. Full schedule today and tonight. Everybody playing on this Wednesday. The Mets and the Pirates go a little later on. That game in New York. Braves have the Reds tonight. National League All-Star balloting was announced. The update. Lots of love for the Cubs. Right now, the whole infield and 1/3 of the outfield are Cubs.
Wow.
Anthony Rizzo at first, Ben Zobrist at second, Chris Bryant at third, and Addison Russell at short. Bethancourt has a base hit. All right, a lot of questions last night on email Tuesday and Twitter Tuesday about this year's pledge packs. Here they come. They go on sale Friday night by phone and online. Don Mattingly has autographed baseball. You get 2 bobbleheads, an autographed Jeff Conine bobblehead, the Billy McFly Back to the Future bobblehead, Marlins team cap from the team store, Fox Sports 1 towel, Tommy Bahama cap, MLB Network bag, and a voucher for 4 tickets to a Marlins game. And all the proceeds go to the Marlins Foundation. All that money goes right back into South Florida youth. One out single by Bethancourt. Here's John Jay. Runner goes. Real Muto's throw on the bag. Got him. Bethancourt wants a review. And is not leaving second base without getting it. Now he's turning up to look up at the scoreboard. Padres probably will look in the video room. Bethancourt walking off the field. Here's a look.
Depends on when that glove got on the leg, actually, but it was close.
Home plate umpire Corey Blazer comes to the dugout to tell the Padres time to make up your mind, and the Padres are going to challenge. If he got the back foot before the front foot hit the bag, he's out. Padres feel he didn't. They're going to challenge and look at it. The original call is key. You got to be clear and conclusive. Super slow-mo. Back foot. Yeah, boy. It's really hard to tell even in super slow-mo. And obviously it's got to be clear and conclusive to overturn the out call. He's out. That would be a call is confirmed. I would expect that quickly.
I think they saw the glove on the back foot before that front foot hit the base.
Real Muta's had a really nice year throwing. Call stands. Call stands, so it is an out. Real Muto throwing at over 40% caught stealing, which is really good. The major league average as far as caught stealing is 26.7.
He moves really well as he anticipates receiving the ball and making that throw. He keeps his body in a good throwing position.
Pitch is up. So back to the All-Stars. National League leading vote getters in the outfield. Dexter Fowler of the Cubs is leading Bryce Harper of the Nationals. Yoenis Cespedes of the Mets right now is in third and has a pretty good cushion over Jason Hayward of the Cubs.
No Marcell Ozuna?
No. Jorge Soler's on there.
I didn't hear you mention Martin Prado either when you were talking about infielders.
Charlie Blackmon's on there. Gregory Polanco, Michael Conforto. These are all vote getters. The top 15 in the outfield. No, I don't see a Marlin in any of the voting categories. John Jay on his way to first. But of course the All-Star team is selected first by the fan vote, then the players vote, and then the leagues and managers fill out the team. Here's Myers, and now all three umpires are headed to the mound. And they may have
missed up the count.
Yeah. You can go to New York. You can review to New York to check balls and strikes in terms of the count. Remember, in the middle of that Jay at bat was the play at second. Umpires all got together. Marlins bench said everybody's cool with that. Now Don Mattingly's coming out of Miami's dugout. Real Muto talking to Mattingly. There's a good chance that the scoreboard in the ballpark was not correct. And that's always confusing to everybody. You see Tim Wallach on the horn. And quite possibly it was the pitch on the stolen base attempt that didn't show up on the stadium scoreboard. I would still, as replay goes further down the road, since the umpires throw the headsets on, just have a system where they flip a switch and they announce to everybody in the ballpark, A, what was being challenged, B, what the umpires in New York saw, just to explain, much like the NFL. You buy that? You like that?
I do like that. I think fans like to be more informed about what's happening.
How about a limit of the amount of time that a team can look? There is a limit, but it's not strictly enforced. The amount of time a team can look. But on top of that, the amount of time the umpires in New York can look.
I mean, I just think it should be like once it's obvious, then go ahead and make the call. But there's sometimes where you have to go sift through all the different camera angles till you get the definitive look. And that I understand. So I wouldn't necessarily say that there has to be a time cap on it. Just do it as efficiently and as quickly as possible.
Any other part of the review where you can shave some time off it? Fastball's out.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what areas they could.
They've eliminated the long, slow walk of shame.
Yeah.
By managers out, which was in the first year. I think that was a positive step. Full count, 3-2. Myers fouls it back. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So the moral of the story in the National League All-Star update is it's good to be a Cub. Yadier Molina is leading all catchers, but he's not that far in front of Buster Posey. Myers strikes out. And so Dunn gets through the 8th. Last swings for the Fish. They're down 3. Fernando Rodney, ladies and gentlemen. By Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today, and by your South Florida Honda dealers. In San Diego, Padres right now with the lead, and their closer Fernando Rodney on the mound, who has yet to give up an earned run in 22 appearances this year. 1 unearned run, thus an 0-1 record and no ERA. He's 12 of 12 in save opportunities, which illustrates that Padres haven't been in this position enough. The arrow shooting, change-up throwing, cap tilted sideways closer, the 39-year-old out of the Dominican Republic, who's had a really nice career. Danny Echeverria. You've got Miguel Rojas, and then the pitcher spot here in the 9th. Last year split his time between Seattle and the Cubs. but very good out of the bullpen for the Rays. 2 years out of the pen for the Angels. And then the Tigers, where he established himself, and he misses up to Echeverria, who was 1 for 2. Etch, that gets by Ramirez. Second time Echeverria has gone by Ramirez for a hit. Cole Gillespie is on deck. And actually Cole Gillespie now is going to hit for Rojas. Gillespie had emerged on deck. Rojas heads back into the dugout. You've got the pitcher spot due up next. And Giancarlo Stanton emerges. So Stanton on deck. Marlins would love to get him to the plate, or frankly anybody to the plate with a chance to tie it. Rodney comes in with a fastball that misses. Who was the first to wear the hat cockeyed like that?
You know what? That's usually a left-hander's thing. Usually left-handers' hat is usually tilted a little bit. I don't know. I don't know of many right-handers that have that issue. But you usually see it in lefties. There's that fluttering changeup again from Fernando Rodney. I mean, he throws it with great arm speed. He doesn't give it away at all. And it's got good movement on it.
Gillespie into center field. So this should be an interesting matchup here as the Friar rings the bell for the first out of the ninth. Stanton has not had any success as a pinch hitter. And the struggling slugger, who showed signs of life last night with a line drive double, a walk. He also bounced out and struck out. So we'll see how Stanton fares against Rodney. There's that changeup. Stanton going back to the mask against the right-hander. Fastball in.
Rodney still got mid-90s fastball, that at 95. That's a tough pitch. Change up at the top of the strike zone. Moving back in towards the plate.
It's a strike. See if he doubles up on it or goes back to the fastball. Fastball, Stanton crushes it.
Jeez.
Foul. My goodness, there was a big puff of dust or smoke that popped up off the ball as it hit against the Western Metal Supply Company. It's foul, but for Stanton it felt good. Now we'll see if Rodney throws up that changeup again. That was a fastball that he just hit.
He's probably holding a changeup grip right now.
Bouncer to third, and it's thrown away, out at second.
What are we doing on the bases?
Echeverria.
He just peeled off, looked like. He just peeled off, just stopped running.
Here's a look.
First of all, no real secondary lead on that play. And then he just kind of gives up on the play.
He's not even in the picture.
No, because he veered off towards the outfield. Look at that. Where's he going?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then instead of having the tying runner at the plate right now,
He got a late start.
yeah, he had no secondary lead, a bad jump on the ball, and then he runs a bad route to the base, gives up on the play. That's the kind of stuff that'll get you a day off right there.
Ichiro now. And a strike. High-speed replay from AT&T. This was Ichiro's first at bat, and this is a base hit. And a nice acknowledgement from the crowd. They did not stop the game, just a tip of the cap. Ichiro takes in. It's 1-1. That's a big play at second base.
That's a huge play. Like I said, instead of having the tying run at the plate, now you got 2 outs and a man on first. That changes everything for Fernando Rodney. And it was a gift. You just gave it to him.
Fastball at Ichiro's feet.
I have no problem with errors when a guy is going hard, but mental errors or lapses in effort, it's hard to stand by. You know, and you try to give the guys the benefit of the doubt, but if you make an error, it's got to be an aggressive error. It can't be 2 outfielders looking at each other to catch the ball and the ball falls. It can't be you just giving up on a base running play where you assume you're out, especially when you're a middle infielder.
Ichiro to right field and into the corner. Stanton around second, headed for third. Kemp picks it off the wall, and Ichiro with 2 hits now. 4,257. And it's a line drive double. The scoreboard here at Petco Park recognizing the amazing career of Ichiro Suzuki. So he has passed Rose's total. He's got 13 hits on this road trip. He's got 13 for 27. And now Miami does bring the tying run to the plate. It's Martin Prado. You've got Yelich on deck. Strike to Prado. And it's 0-1.
You know how much more pressure it is on a pitcher right now if the Marlins were able to score that run from Echeverria being on second base and now having 2 guys in scoring position? He's going to feel like he's got to be perfect.
Rodney misses out. Well, he has been perfect this year. He's not given up an earned run. Echeverria on the bench right now. On Stanton's grounder to third, Echeverria pulled up at second. The throw pulled Solarte off the bag. Echeverria had to restart, and he couldn't beat him back. It was bang, bang, but he was out. Ball and a strike. Prado in the air to right field. And the Padres win the ball game. Rodney shoots his arrow in the air. He stays perfect with some help from the Marlins. And Ichiro on a historic day here in San Diego with 2 hits. He passes Pete Rose's major league total. On Marlins Live, we will have reaction. It sounds like Ichiro will meet the press and talk about it. And we hope to carry that and portions of that